most important race of the year for one young man, just 19 years of age, from Auckland, New Zealand. Callum Hedge, he could wrap up the championship in this race. It just depends on what happens. And to enjoy it with me, I've got Tyke Durst, who I would kind of call a local.
Yeah,
is that right?
Kind of, yeah.
Whereabouts do you hail from?
So originally I'm from Tennessee, but I lived in Raleigh, which is only about an hour away from here.
Yeah.
Very, very long time lived there. Went to high school there, basically grew up there. And now I'm going to school in Charlotte, so that's only like 2 hours away from here. So yeah.
And currently racing in F4, and obviously I'm sure you're looking to make the jump to this if you can next year, right?
If I can, yeah, that'd be awesome. These cars just look so beautiful, so yeah.
What's your ambition?
IndyCar would be my ambition, yeah. So, get to the Indy 500.
Well, you're sporting the Colton Herder look, so I like that.
Yeah, into surfing a little bit. Love to surf on the lake and on the beach. So, yeah, long hair comes with that. So,
you know, this may sound a bit of a stretch, but I actually think that surfing, if you're good at it, there's definitely a touch of what you can learn in surfing that you can bring to motor racing, because you're always adjusting every second on a wave, right?
Yes.
And I've never surfed, or I've tried, but I've never surfed. And I would have said there's a lot of that springs over as we take a look at Cooper Becklin. Who do you know out of this group of cars?
Kevin Jansen. If you don't know anybody in this field, you got to root for Kevin. Kevin is
He's
the GOAT.
Good guy. He came up, he is the GOAT. He came and did some commentary with me. He really enjoys it. He's a little bit older than some of you. But I said to him, why do you race against these youngsters and as they hand it to you? And he goes, I just love it. I just enjoy it. And
He's just out here for fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Cooper Becklin, it's been an amazing season for Crosslinks Kiwi, as we just saw him. Oliver Westling of Jensen, good kid. We've already had a Swedish champion. He won't be the champion this year, but he's making his way, and as you can see, half American, half Swede. And that's a clever move by him, racing in the States, because he's got both affiliations.
Yeah.
But a small field in FR, but it was an even smaller field when Kyle Kirkwood, you may know that name, IndyCar driver. So he's probably the poster boy, isn't he, really, now?
Yeah.
Because he did it all. He did your Series F4, then he won in FR in our first year in 2018, and then he's gone up to Indy Lights, and then on to IndyCar, and now he's doing it. Ryan Sheehan is the only man who can stop Callum Hedge. He's his teammate. He's seen his data all year, much to his frustration and chagrin, because Callum has won, 11 races now? Pretty darned impressive. And but the good, impressive thing that Ryan has done is stuck with him. And even though he's not winning all the races, he's doing what a good driver should, which is to make sure that he's consistently on the podium. And that has put him in a position to keep this championship alive, despite the fact that this man, Callum Hedge, has pretty much dominated, as most of our champions have done over the years. Raoul Hyman, of course, from Great Britain, won this championship last year, and the prize, and Tyke, you tell me, but I think this is an awesome prize. Honda offering a chance to go and race in Super Formula in Japan.
Like going to Japan, that's a full year of just being a professional driver at one of the top levels of motorsports, and it's Japan, so you get to live it up. So it'd be a great opportunity.
That's a good point. Yeah, very, very impressive. It's the last year of that scholarship, so things will be changing. We'll be turning to Ligier next year, and quite a lot has been announced already, but there's more to come. But this has been a sensational year for Callum Hedge. It's just gone from bigger to better in each and every way. He did a winter series, same as Ryan Sheehan in his home of New Zealand, the Toyota Racing Series, came runner-up in that, almost won it against Charlie Wirtz, the son of course, the ex-Formula One driver Alexander Wirtz, who, by the way, not a lot of people know this, I bet you didn't know this. Alexander Wirtz, you might know the name, but he was responsible for the Halo. He developed the Halo for Formula One, and of course that has now trickled down and will be on the F4 car next year, but it is on this FR car, the Ligier, currently. And so from a safety point of view, Alexander Wirtz has got a real accolade to his name. Great racing driver in his own time, and Charlie, his son, now racing in Europe, but won the Toyota Racing Series against Callum Hedge earlier this year, and then Hedge jumped over here to the States, and he's been doing 2 series. So think about this. From January to December, Callum Hedge will have done 3 racing series. When I saw him the other day, he said he's exhausted from all the travel. But in terms of envy, I'm sure you're thinking, boy, if I could jump into a Porsche, then jump into an FR car, then another FR car in another part of the world, that's the experience you want, right?
Yes, that's kind of like my teammate. My teammate does a lot of that. He's racing in Spain and Brazil, and
right.
You can see like he improved a lot just with all that seat time. So
we await the start of this race, and as I said, if Callum Hedge can beat Ryan Sheehan, we're pretty sure he's going to take the title this time out. So we are holding him on the grid, possible debris on track, so we're just having a little pause and a wait.
This is the worst.
I was talking actually to Cooper Becklin earlier this morning about, we had a delay in your race.
Yes.
And you can't itch, you can't scratch your face, you can't do anything, you can't move.
I had to go to the bathroom bad. And I sat there and it was like the 5-minute board, or I don't know, I watched someone go to the bathroom. I was like, I probably have time, but I'm going to stick it out.
Yep.
And then 10 minutes go by, and you're like, I could have went. And yeah.
So where did your passion for this come from? Do you come from any racing family, or?
Not really. It's funny. My dad is actually the one who has to learn everything. My mom was raised in Nebraska, and in Nebraska there are 2 big things: Nebraska football and racing. So she grew up. Yeah, she grew up dirt track racing. She actually raced for a little bit herself back in the day. And then my uncle, her brother, was pretty good, and our grandpa was kind of the one that really loved racing. Fortunately, never got to meet my grandpa, but yeah. So that's kind of where the racing comes from, is my mom's side. I didn't really discover it until I was about like 16. I kind of started.
Oh wow, that's quite late.
Yeah, I kind of got into cars first, and then I got into sim racing. Did a lot of sim racing, just like, in a Assetto Corsa, just blasting around. That was really fun, so I picked this up.
So the gap, by my guesstimations at the moment, because I'm not quite sure, because they haven't updated the overall championship, but we started the weekend at 55 points, the difference between Callum Hedge and Ryan Sheehan, and over the weekend, Callum has picked up another 2 wins, and Ryan Sheehan has followed him home, which means he'll have increased his lead. So we're now at a point with 3 races to go after this one, which is why we're talking about the fact that he could wrap up the championship if he can beat Ryan in this race, because he'll make it impossible for Ryan to get more points, frankly. And of course, obviously, there's no guarantee that Callum won't do the same again. I remember when Linus Lundqvist did the same, dominating his season, and so we've had some really dominant champions in FR, but that's how the cream gets to the top. That's how you notice the next big driver, and I know there is a lot of IndyCar teams looking at this kid. He's already racing Porsche Carrera Cup Australia with Earl Bamber, and if you know Earl Bamber's story, you'll know he's one of the greatest drivers in the world, and that isn't an exaggeration. He too, I know his career well. I started out watching him in Formula BMW many years ago. He then moved on to single-seaters and did a lot of racing in single-seaters before he became famous, winning Porsche Carrera Cup Asia, then going on to Super Cup, winning that, and the rest is history, as he's a world champion and a Le Mans winner. And so many Kiwis have done just that. Brendan Hartley, same story. And on and on and on. Then come to this part of the world. We've got more Kiwis than we can keep up with. It's a good job they can't fly. We've got Scott Dixon, the GOAT of IndyCar. Scott McLaughlin just jumped straight into a car and just absolutely takes it to the cleaners. And how about Van Gisbergen this year? Just jumps in a NASCAR. I'll have a bit of that.
Yeah.
And wins immediately at Chicago. It's fantastic. And we hear that he's coming for full time in NASCAR, and that is big news. So Kiwis everywhere you look. Just add Liam Lawson, who is in Super Formula and about to win it in 2 weeks' time. Currently racing for AlphaTauri in Formula One. Add a little bit of Marcus Armstrong, and on and on. Jacob Douglas. I mean, I could go on and on.
I want to know the Kiwis, like, per capita of racing drivers. Like, that's going to be crazy.
I think there's a documentary to be made on, just exactly what they're cooking down there. Because, but I do know, honestly, that the truth is it's a very tight-knit and very passionate, small community of racers. They don't get the accolades of the other sportsmen, i.e. rugby, cricket, soccer, you name it, athletics, and they don't get the funding, they don't get the prizes at the awards that you'd expect them to get for what they've achieved. But they punch above their weight, and I haven't even mentioned Hayden Paddon in rally and on. I mean, there's so many great racing drivers. Right this moment, Callum Hedge is supposed to be in his Porsche Carrera Cup car, and he's had to bring Chris Vanderdrift, another Porsche Carrera Cup hero, into his Porsche car for this weekend. He's leading the championship there, but he's just jumped over this side of the pond to come and see if he can wrap up this championship. So it's been one heck of a season for this young 19-year-old Aucklander.
Man, his burnouts were crazy. He's going to have a good launch here.
Let's hope. Yeah, is that how you kind of work out whether you're going to get a good one?
You just kind of keep doing burnouts on the way to the grid, basically. Get the rear tires really nice and warm. So.
Yeah. Now, if you were Ryan Sheehan in second place, I guess the game would be to drop that clutch and get round the outside and zoom across to the inside.
You have to send it here. You basically have to say, if you want to win this championship, I might have to, so. Because Callum's going to have to defend it here. He can't make any mistakes.
Here we go then. Callum Hedge from New Zealand against Ryan Sheehan of Austin, Texas, and the USA. That doesn't mean to say that there won't be others involved. Oliver Westling might have a little bit to say because the championship gets nerves. And away we go then. And what did you see, Tyke?
Westling had a great jump.
He did. Look at him on the inside. Whoa! Oliver Westling went a little bit of grass mowing. Round the outside, as planned, it goes Ryan Sheehan. And this is a very tentative start for Callum Hedge because he was in trouble and under pressure immediately. The last thing he needs to do is go off track, but he's got the lead and he'll settle down now. Will Callum Hedge?
Very smart, yeah.
That was a smart move. So Westling does recover into third place behind Ryan Sheehan, but now goes off and loses a place.
Yeah, he broke late there.
Yeah, and I think Cooper Becklin, another crosslink Kiwi man, has gone through into third. So it's a half-hour race. How do you play a half-hour race? Is it just push all the way?
Oh, you just got to push all the way. Yeah. If you've done your fitness right, it's just a push all the way. 100%.
And it was Cooper Becklin in the 19. There's Oliver Westling. And I would have thought his heart will be beating quite a lot after that little moment because that's very scary going on the inside there. He's probably taken our nice onboard camera out or our low-down camera. But anyway, he's recovered well. Cooper Becklin, he came in the booth earlier and I said, yeah, man, get in there. Get a win. These guys are worried about the championship.
Yeah.
And he said, you know what? I might just do that.
Well, he's going to have a good draft here, so.
Yeah. When do you know you've got the draft?
Anytime down this back straight, if you're behind someone, it doesn't matter. The draft here is incredibly powerful.
Is it?
So, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, talking of incredibly powerful, look at Callum go. He got huge drive out of Customer Bank there and heading towards the roller coaster. Already Callum Hedge starting to build on that lead, and now Oliver Westling, Cooper Becklin all over the back of his teammate. And remember, they're 1, 2, and 3 both in the championship, and all teammates for Crosslink Kiwi.
Big wiggle.
Yeah, big wiggle out there of the hog pen. But Callum Hedge puts in a stunning first lap of 150.5 to lead the way. And just to give you an idea, there's nobody near him. Ryan Sheehan's lap of 152.0 compared to a 150.5, and that's broken the back of it. That's got to be disheartening almost.
Yeah.
Hell of a first lap from Callum Hedge. He didn't get the perfect start because Westling got away well, but look at the gap. You can see it from the drone here, and Sheehan has got, now he's lost out to Becklin, and I thought that might happen. Cooper Becklin is no reason to show respect here. He's got his own championship and his own reputation to deal with. He wants a win, and let's see if he can now go in pursuit of Callum Hedge.
Yeah, if you're Sheehan at this point, you just got to keep behind Becklin and hope Becklin gets to Hedge and absolutely throws it down if he really wants that win.
Tyke, let's have a look at this. Here's the overtake. Let's see it from a driver's point of view, how you see it.
I think Becklin just basically saw that Hedge or Sheehan broke early and wanted it.
He did break early, didn't he? It was a strange one. But now you can see the gap already. This is lap 2, folks, and Hedge has already built 1.5, and it's more than that now. Oh, definitely more than that now.
And the draft at this point is very, very small. So He's kind of broken it.
Oh, yeah. Once you've got a few car lengths away, there's no way anybody can draft you. Whether second, third, and fourth are all capable of drafting. And there's two places, obviously, to draft. The two long straights, one out of Customer Bank and one out of Hogpen. As we go back with the all-gold Austin, Texas 66 of Ryan Sheehan. Been a big year for him, too, though. Just 18 years of age. He's less experienced, to be fair. Let's put this in perspective. Callum Hedge has got a lot more experience at these single-seater cars than Ryan has. He came into racing FR cars this year alone, so this is his rookie season in FR, and I think if he does become runner-up in this championship, I think he will probably have another crack at it next year, and then he could be dominant, just as Callum has been.
Yeah, that'd be something to look out for.
Everett Stack making his entry into FR as well, currently in 7th, and Nicole Laverda in 8th position. Got a chance to learn a little bit more about the young Canadian in 8th at the moment. She had a big off and damaged the suspension, or at least bent it in the last race. Bowlesby in 5th. Westling, as you saw, is in 4th position. And then Sheehan now dropping down to 3rd with Cooper Becklin getting in touch. In fact, Cooper Becklin's done a good job in this last lap. The gap between himself and Hedge, 2.3 seconds. Whoa! Ooh. Big moment for Oliver. What happened there?
Yeah, I got the curb there.
Oh, you just hit the curb.
That curb will, if you get too much of it, will throw the right rear up in the air, basically.
Good save then.
Yeah, it's as long as you keep the power down, it's just going to wiggle a lot. But yeah, I've hit that curb a lot and had those wiggles, so it's kind of an exciting moment. But as long as you keep the power, you'll be fine.
Well, I'll let you have a look at the replay, and you can tell our audience just exactly what you see.
Yeah. So coming up to turn 10 here. Doesn't get to the apex quite enough. Oh, it was even before the curve.
Before, wasn't it?
He just had a lot of wheeling.
He just got oversteer and then found himself almost out of control.
That was actually a good save.
It was a good save, yeah.
Never even touched the curve. That was crazy.
Yep. Bowlesby then, who's been around for a while, has Hayden Bowlesby. Getting some experience, that's for sure. And then Max. Yeah. Quite the beard. Max Hewitt, 21 years of age, in 6th position at the moment. He came and did some comments with me earlier in the season. Nice kid.
Never met him.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, he's competition, you know.
Yeah.
Stay away from the competition. How's your fitness regime? Do you struggle with that, or is it an easy thing for you?
So for me, it's pretty easy, especially at Charlotte. There's so many race car drivers that go to University of North Carolina, Charlotte. A lot of NASCAR drivers, but also a lot of road racing drivers. Very easy to find some friends there. And when you go to a gym with another race car driver, you start doing big competition. So.
And what would you say, just for people listening who don't race but probably do go to the gym and want to stay fit, it's different for motor racing. There's different muscles you need to develop, and you don't want to bulk up particularly, do you? So what are the things you work on?
So I work more on like a athletic build. That's kind of what I want. I still do a lot of weightlifting just because that's what a lot of my friends do, and it's very fun to do weightlifting. But the difference is, a lot of people go and do weightlifting and that's it. For a race car driver, you have a lot of accessory muscles that you also have to hit, and then you also have your cardio. Cardio is the biggest thing. If that's not in place for you, then it's going to be super hard to do these 30-minute races.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of give an example, your heart rate is going through the roof.
Oh, I have it. I have all my heart rate data from every race.
So what kind of heartbeat are you getting up to when you're before the start?
It's before the start actually isn't too bad. I think it's like 130, 140.
And what would your resting be, 60, 50?
My resting is around 60.
Yeah.
True resting heart rate when I'm sleeping is 50, high 40s.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. But when you're racing, it's 180, at least for mine, the whole time. So.
Here's our first look at Everett Stack. Young man making his way, did a bit of F4, did racing against you, but then they literally yanked him out of that and said, hey, have a go at FR, which is tough, but, not a bad thing to do. The quicker you can get up the board and obviously not ruin the equipment and keep crashing, as long as you can deal with it, it's worth doing for sure. Now, the gap is 2 seconds. In control of this race is Callum Hedge, and he's going about his business nicely. But Cooper Becklin trying to reel him in bit by bit. He's not trying to change the world, but Cooper Becklin just doing his fastest lap of 46.7, so he is catching Callum Hedge but I think Hedge could go up to. There's another gear in there in his head, I think, and I've seen it happen with him. He's a very laid-back character. See how he just adjusted the mirror there?
Yeah, he is coasting.
He's just coasting, and he's also saying, "Okay, I'm keeping an eye on you, Cooper."
He is managing the gap hard. Yeah.
It's amazing. I've watched him grow up. Literally, he was a champion in F1600 in New Zealand a few years ago. Then he moved up and got a scholarship and raced in the Toyota 86 Championship, a tin top series, all identical cars. Won that. And then got the big opportunity to race single-seaters, and he hasn't looked back since. And I remember when he chose, or was in New Zealand when he decided to come here to the States, and he asked me what I thought, and I said, look, we've got a great race director in Scott Goodyear. It's good, safe racing, great marshalling, tracks that are, tough, but similar to New Zealand. And similar to Great Britain, so if he does stay with single-seaters, it'll put him in good stead, especially if he were to make it to either IndyCar or Formula One. And even if he doesn't stay in single-seaters, he's almost got a path in Carrera Cup or that form of racing. So he's in the perfect situation at the moment.
And you also have to think about his network. If you're in Carrera Cup, you're here. The amount of people you meet that can help you out would be crazy.
Well, like I said, he's racing for Earl Bamber as we speak, and it's his second year. He won the rookie championship last year, and he's on his way to win the overall championship, and that would give him a pop at something that what Earl Bamber did, and that was to go and effectively go to the Michelin runoff for the Carrera Cup, and basically out of that, it's a chance to get into the Porsche Carrera Cup itself.
Might be oil.
Now, what's going on here? Oh, no. Hedge
Is that actually
has blown
him?
an engine. And here comes Cooper Becklin. He's going to go past him here. He was catching him, but that is fatal. That is gone.
Oh my gosh.
That car has gone, and all at the worst possible moment. Here comes Sheehan, and he's gone off. And I'm not surprised he's gone off, because I think that was a smart move, because he realizes that the engine's gone, he's going nowhere, he was losing power. And guys, that is motor racing. Callum Hedge had the world at his feet, and now he is parked literally in a hedge in Virginia, USA.
And that's heartbreaking, because you could have left this weekend with the championship. You could have gone to COTA, no worries in the world. And now he has to go to COTA thinking, and if Sheehan does well here, he can make up ground. So
huge ground, because he only needed to fit. He's 66 points or so ahead, but if Sheehan's got to get the hurry up.
Yeah,
he's got to really tune in and see if now we're under caution, obviously, so that's actually going to play into Ryan Sheehan's hands a little bit. And I wonder how Cooper plays this. I wonder if Gary Orton gets on the phone and goes, "Oi, we need Ryan. You need to do a bit of a helpful hand here." But this is young guys' careers. I mean, how would you feel if you were in Cooper's position?
Oh, I would not listen to any team orders that were given.
Good for you.
No.
I mean, I'm a big mate of Ryan's. I've watched his career, and I've told the story a few times, but age of 9, he went with Doug, his dad, to COTA. I was doing the commentary for SVRA, I wasn't doing the commentary, but I was at COTA, and he fell in love with racing, and said to his dad, "Look, I want to do this." He was just a kid, and so bit by bit, he's got his way through the ranks.
Yeah.
And if I talk to his dad, he'll tell you that Ryan Sheehan Racing is Ryan Sheehan. He does the work. He does the footwork. He does the press releases.
I can relate to that.
Yeah, well,
I've done all that myself.
But that's the guys that make it. And when you can put across a table, and you sit across a table from somebody who's got some money, potentially, and you can just show them how passionate you are about making that money and making it in this game, then you'll get support from people.
Yeah.
Well, we're under caution here, and I cannot believe how motor racing, the cruel fate that often it throws out, as Callum Hedge has gone from hero, sadly, all the way down to 0 in terms of speed anyway, because his hopes have been dashed, but he's still leading the championship. It just means, really, that we go on to COTA. I'm looking down at the Crosslink Kiwi team, Gary Orton, and a lot of consternation there. We're going to take a short break here from VIR, and we'll get back to the action, which should be electric, after this.
The Mission Foods Austin Speed Tour returns to Circuit of the Americas November 3rd through the 5th, featuring the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli, the Sports Car Vintage Racing Association, International GT, FR Americas, and F4 US Championships. Saturday, you can take part in the Haggerty Cars and Caffeine Car Show with Parade Lab. You do not want to miss the Mission Foods Austin Speed Tour November 3rd through the 5th. Children 12 and under are free. For tickets, simply go to speedtour.net.
Well, they say that motor racing can be a cruel game, and we've just seen it played out. And I've got Tyke Durst next to me, who is an F4 driver, and his heart sank for Callum Hedge, as we all did. But let's have a look at it again, because we suddenly noticed a puff of smoke as Cooper Becklin in second place. Now watch, he gets across the dirt here, and from here on in, he just starts smoking.
Maybe it's suspension damage and the floor is dragging.
Ah!
That could be what that is.
So he's just gone too wide there into the dirt, potentially.
Potentially,
but
yes.
No, there's definitely... No, that's more
that's
than...
smoke.
No, that's smoke, I'm afraid. And, so what he does is he continues, realizes he's got no power, or he can't, he can't do anything, and then he's thinking, right, I'll get it back to the pits, but then he just says, nope, and just gets out of the way, basically.
Yeah.
Real shame.
Any control over that.
Well, luckily he's a very affable and laid-back guy, and he'll take it on the chin. That's racing. He knows it well. He's been doing it a fair few years. But now the action goes back. Two teammates, Cooper Becklin, third in the championship, teammate to Ryan Sheehan.
Yes.
Ryan Sheehan, the only man who can stop Callum Hedge, but Ryan Sheehan needs, and I mean needs, to win this race. He needs to get the restart, and I'm going to turn to your learned self and say, how do you get the perfect restart?
So in F4, the way we do it.
So I think the damage to the front wing will be because, but he's got it under power again, so it's not a blown engine, is it?
Maybe it was suspension damage.
Well, and it looks as though it's I think you're right.
One of the rears broke, and it just dragged really hard on the ground back there, and then he didn't realize how bad it was broken going into roller coaster.
Yep.
But yeah, the restart, what we want to do here is probably a little bit of throttle and brake at the same time, and as soon as you hear or see Becklin go, just release that brake and nail the throttle, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And with these cars, I'd assume it's even more important because you have a turbo.
So Hedge comes in the 17.
It's a hard sight.
It is a hard sight. Broken front wing, broken suspension, we suspect. They are checking the car out, but as you can see, there's no real dramatic need or want to do much besides change the front wing, which is an easy change. Yeah. Other than that, there's no real drama because we're under caution. The restart will be coming now, and this could be the most crucial corners in Ryan Sheehan's young career so far. He has to get past, he did go early, he has to get past his teammate Cooper Becklin, who has not had the same amount of joy. 2 wins to Ryan Sheehan. Can he make it 3 and keep this championship alive? He goes to the outside and tries to make the slingshot, but Cooper Becklin goes wide and keeps Ryan Sheehan behind him. But it's Becklin versus Sheehan, and Oliver Westling, the Swede, getting into the mix in 3rd place. Callum Hedge, if you've just joined us, is out of this race, having led from pole with broken suspension and what we're looking at as a new front wing, but it looks as though they're now, I'm looking out of the corner of the commentary booth, they are trying to adjust the suspension and get him back out there. You never say never in racing, that's for sure.
No, I mean, everybody could reckon he could still win. So
exactly. But Cooper Becklin leads this race, and Ryan Sheehan in the 66 is doing everything this young 18-year-old can do now to keep this championship alive. He's done a superb job, in my mind, of keeping his head. I mean, you know, when you're up against a guy, I mean, it's a bit like racing against Verstappen. He's won everything. But you don't see Hamilton giving in. Nope. You see him saying, okay, you've got the better car this year, or you're faster this year, but that doesn't mean I can't be with you. And that's exactly what Ryan's attitude has been. And he knew that it only I actually said to him, it only takes one DNF, Ryan, and he smiled and said, I know. But you don't wish that upon anybody. But you've got to, you know, you've got to look at the laws. Last year he lost the F4 championship here at VIR when another car hit him. So, you know, he's well aware of how this game can go.
Yeah. And
Well,
you got to push yourself to get the most out of what you can do at least.
and
So,
actually,
yeah.
the good ones are the guys that keep their heads in these circumstances because the pressure is immense now. And he knows. It's all very well me hyping it up as a commentator. I could not stand this pressure if I were driving. My mind would be going absolutely monkey crazy right now, thinking of all sorts of things, listening to all sorts of things that weren't there, imagining things, trying to compute the numbers, trying to, you don't, and then also concentrate. Look, he locks up there, making mistakes that you don't normally make, perhaps. And Oliver Westling getting closer and closer. Somebody else going into the dirt there. Do we get another caution, I wonder? 11 minutes to go. And it was Everett Stack, the new boy, who... to FR, who made the mistake, but he's back and okay. Callum Hedge still in the car, I may add. Although, no, the steering wheel has now come off and Callum is getting out of the car. I really feel for him. He's a great kid.
Yeah, suspension damage is really hard to fix on the grid or on the pit lane, so, yeah.
But he knows it, and he's having a look himself at the damage. But the good news for Callum, I know him well, is that he knows that he caused that because he went wide.
Yeah.
And that, it wasn't like he touched another car. It wasn't like the car blew up, which I thought at first it had. I thought it, but I think it was more due to the fact that he just went a little too wide there, didn't he?
This track has a lot of curb usage, and like you can feel it in the car. Like if you are really pushing here, you use a lot of curb, and sometimes stuff like that happens, and you just break suspension. And yeah, I think he dropped the wheel just a little bit.
Just a little, couple of inches.
Yep.
That's well, we've seen it all the way to Formula One. A couple of inches is all it takes for you to go from first to 10th.
Yeah.
We saw Lando Norris just have track limits, a little bit of oversteer yesterday, and that dropped him from what would have been a third place start to a second place start all the way down the field again. Cooper Becklin crosses the line, and Cooper's doing a good job. A very good job. He crosses the line with a 1:47.6, a 1:47.9 by Ryan Sheehan. He's losing ground. The gap is 0.8 of a second. 9 minutes to go. Sheehan needs to reel him in.
Yeah, if you're Sheehan here, you also want to start setting patterns for Becklin. Start going outside a lot, and then at some point you're going to break those patterns and hope to make a move.
So to explain that again.
So patterns, basically you're going to do the same thing and stay with him. And then when you find your moment, if you're getting really close, instead of doing that same thing again, you're going to go to the inside.
Yep.
And that's how you get people sometimes.
And also, try to force him to look in the mirrors.
Yes.
Force him to do things that he might not do. You saw Ryan make a rare mistake of just locking up a wheel there, and he didn't do any harm, but it doesn't help either. And it also mentally doesn't help either. Now, Westling was doing a good job of catching up, but Bowlesby now is catching up with Westling, so we've got two distinct battles here.
Yeah.
Bowlesby wants a podium just as much as Oliver Westling. It's not been an easy weekend for Oliver. He too came in from F4 last year.
I raced against him.
Yeah, you did. I'm sure, yeah. Good guy.
Yeah.
See, now that's exactly what Callum Hedge did.
That is what Hedge did.
Bowlesby did. But he's got away with it somehow.
Yes. It almost looked like when Hedge went off, he had a little bit of oversteer in the car. And it like snapped and then hopped on the curb.
So that pushes it even further down, yeah?
I don't know if that's what did it or if it broke and caused the oversteer, but...
Well, they stopped working on the car. They're still looking at it. But, yeah, it's terminal, I'm afraid. He's not going anywhere. And, in fact, he's left the pit area. Can't say I blame him.
Yeah.
Now, let's get back to this because the gap is was 0.8. Let's see what it is now. Becklin crosses the line again. He does a 1:47.0 to a 1:47.3. So, again, he's losing ground. The gap is now 1.1. Cooper Becklin very much in control of this race. I have to say, even though obviously we're looking at Sheehan to keep this championship alive, you can't take anything away from Cooper. And I wonder, Gary Orton's concentration now looking at the, I can see him writing there, I wonder what they're saying on the radio.
I would be telling him to shut up. I wouldn't want to hear anything.
Yep. Or as Max said, we discussed this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how racing drivers hold a grudge, or not a grudge, but, they just want to win, and I get it. There's nothing worse than a contrived race, but, then again, when you're a team owner and a team manager, you want to get the best results. But Crosslink have already got, so this is an inter-team battle, and they've got some very, very experienced people down there, including an ex-Formula One driver and an ex-Formula One engineer. So there's plenty of experience to work this out. They've seen it all before and have done it all before. And and Gary and Tina have been the most successful FR team and F4 team in America since it started. So they know what they're doing. The little team from South Island in New Zealand.
Yeah, their FR program has done incredibly well these past few years.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you think about Josh Carr and you think about some of the guys that have come through their ranks and really made Kiko Porto and a few others going on to bigger and better, and really impressive. This is a great little battle here.
Stack.
Yeah, he's got back on track as Everett, and now he's closing in on 39 of Max Hewitt. 21-year-old defending for his life right now. Time running out though, 5:55 to go. Just a few laps to go. Cooper Beckland still very much in control of this race. The gap, 1.6 seconds. Last lap, 1:47.3 from Ryan Sheehan. He made a little bit of a gap up, and through goes the 6 of Herverda. Nicely done. And the girl from Canada, Vancouver, does it in style. And gets a place up, and a 5th place for her. That's her best finish. She got that at New Jersey, so if she can hang on. And Tyke, I'm going to turn to you and let you have a look at young Nicole, the 17-year-old, and take a look at this move. Nicely done.
Yeah, this was just a classic racing move. Hewitt kind of left the door open, and Nicole just got it down the inside. That was pretty good.
The difference between what Alex Berg did in your race was that she just kept control. She didn't overbrake. He was a little too hot. She just was nice and smooth through that. Very well done indeed by the young Vancouver former ski racer and swimmer.
She probably saw it coming from a long ways away.
Yeah, exactly.
Had it all planned out.
Yeah, good for her. And learning her way, really enjoying being with Crosslink as well. She's another one of the Crosslink Kiwi girls. As Hannah Greenmeyer in your race, getting a good result for her, going off of the grass. Look at this, side by side. Is this Westling?
Yeah.
It is. And Bowlesby? Westling and Bowlesby. Whoa, side by side through roller coaster. It's going to feel like a roller coaster. Something had to give there, and Bowlesby squeezes through. Wow. Well, Westling just had to sort of say, well, we're not both going to make it to the bottom of the hill, mate. So one of us has got to stop.
That is not somewhere you want to be 2x2 at all.
Really good. No. That's a scary place to be, 2x2.
Especially in an FR car. Yeah.
Now, let's take a look. A 47.1 last time out by Beckland and a 46.9. So again, Ryan Sheehan taking a little bit of time out of the leader of this race, Cooper Beckland. The gap is 1.4. Minutes are 3 minutes and 52, and we are lapping at 1:47. So you could kind of calculate that it's going to be 2 laps maybe.
Yeah. Sheehan better put the pedal to the metal here.
He's got to go for it.
Yeah.
He's got to go, and he knows what it means. But he's also a very sensible driver, is Ryan. He'll take a lunge, he'll take a chance if he can make it, but he's also very level-headed. And he's not going to throw this away, in my opinion. And of course, I'll jinx him now, but no, he's a very level-headed driver, and he drives within his own abilities. It's always been his style. And consistency's put him in this position to challenge. I mean, if you'd won 11 races, you'd have gone home and said, I don't need to do the last weekend. Because, you dominated. It's just like Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
But Ryan has been so calculated and so consistent to be on the podium each and every weekend that he's kept this alive. And he's doing it again here. And second place won't be what he wants, but it'll be good enough to keep the championship alive.
Yes, sir. And second's better than third.
Yep.
Third's better than fourth, so yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Doing, crazy stuff now will not help him. And I think the worst thing... as I say that, I'm going to jinx somebody. Jansen's gone round.
Not the goat.
The goat. 58 years of age, he's still going strong. I love it.
Yeah. He's going backwards there for a minute.
It was a bit. Across the line then comes Cooper Beckland, and he does a 46.6, and he's upped his game. A 46.9 though, as the white flag comes out. One more lap to go then. This championship is going home to Texas, and Ryan Sheehan from Austin, Texas is going to, I'm sure, invite the whole 2 million of Austin, Texas to cheer him on at COTA, because he may just need a helping hand, because he's got an almighty battle with 3 races to go. And I hate to say it, I love the fact that this championship is wide open, because it means that we've got 3 cracking races on November 5th. Come down and see us if you're in the neighborhood, because we've got a championship, folks. And Callum Hedge is likely to win it, obviously, after the year that he's had. But he was out of this one, and it's going to go to Cooper Becklin, who's on his way. He's marching on his way. Really, really good laps the last few laps. The gap, 1.7 seconds now. And it was 1.4 just 2 laps ago. So Cooper Becklin is controlling this race, Tyke. It's impressive.
Apparently you motivated him to go win this one.
I did. I said to him, I actually said to him as he left the booth, I said, because he said, I've got 2/3. He got a third place when Bowlesby was penalised.
Yeah.
So that was a gimme because he was really fourth. And then he got a third on his own merit. And I said, okay, I want at least a second. And he said, okay. And then off he went. So well done. I'm pleased for him because he deserves this. Here he comes then, and it's going to be close, but it's not going to be close enough for Ryan Sheehan to win this. There's nothing he can do now as he comes down the hill for the last time. Cooper Becklin.
Great run through Hodgson right there. So.
And the current man from Oregon University and the Northwest takes victory here at VIR and takes the checkered flag in style. That's a great result. His first win of the season, having had several podiums. Great stuff. The celebrations will be all night. Crosslink Kiwi don't mind who win as long as they win. Ryan Sheehan crosses the line, and more importantly for his championship, keeps it going for the final weekend, which is all he could have hoped for. Meanwhile, Callum Hedge, I can see out of the corner of my eye, has got the shades on, but looking rather disconsolate on the pit wall, as he knows the obvious, which is he's got to do it all again at COTA with 3 races to go. Tyke, you came in at the right time.
Yeah.
I didn't.
It was a great race.
I actually thought that it was going to be a good race between the pair of them, but I didn't think with Callum's, current form that it would be easy for Ryan to beat him.
He was cruising. I mean, he was just in his mirror,
there you go.
trying to adjust the gap. Oh, he was driving his tires perfectly. That's so unfortunate for him, man.
Well, that's motor racing, folks. That face says it all. But he's a good kid. And he can take solace that he still may meet his fellow Aucklander, Liam Lawson, in Japan. I don't know if Liam's going to do the championship again because he's so close to Formula One.
Yeah.
Cooper Becklin then wins for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport. Ryan Sheehan keeps it all alive with second place. Hayden Bowlesby, well done, gets a third place. Good little battle with Oliver Westlake, but he wins it ahead of Westlake. Nicole Haverda, that's another equal best result for her in her first season. Well done to her. And Vancouver will celebrate, I'm sure, with her. Max Hewitt takes 6th, Everett Stack 7th. Kevin Jansen, despite that spin, takes 8th. And obviously, in 9th position, the man who didn't finish, Callum Hedge.
Great race for the GO, Kevin Jansen. Great 8th place.
Yep.
Really proud of him.
Well, thanks, Dirk. Tyke, I appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thank
Best
you,
of
John.
luck for the rest of the year. We'll see you at COTA.
You will.
It's, just so you know, it's up the hill.
Oh, yeah. To the left?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it. I think I've seen it before. It's been on TV on ESPN.
It's been on TV, yeah. I love it. Well, I hope you enjoy it. Have you raced there before?
I have. I raced there last year.
Okay, good.
So.
It's a great track, isn't it? Lots of room there.
Yes.
It almost sucks you into making mistakes because it's so big.
I really like tracks like this where you don't have runoff, and then I go there and I'm like, oh, where do I go?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Tyke Durst, coming in. He'll be in action in COTA in a few weeks' time, and we look forward to that. But that's our coverage of FR, and well, you just saw motor racing play out at its toughest and most tragic, if you will, because Callum Hedge only a few laps away from glory. And sadly, that's how it goes. And fellow Aucklander had a similar experience, Liam Lawson, yesterday in the sprint race in Formula One. It's a cruel game, this one, but that's why we love it. We'll head down to John Phippen in a moment, and we'll hear from a very delighted, I'm sure, Cooper Becklin. And let's not take any of the shine off what has been a fantastic day for Cooper. He ran that beautifully. He had podiums at NOLA. He had podiums at Road America. He was also on the podium at Mid-Ohio. And he does. No, he doesn't. He was also on the podium at New Jersey. So this is his first win. I'm delighted for him. And out of the car, the tall, lean figure, 6'2", remember. We were asking him about, I was talking to one of his former kart guys. There you go, 6'2". Well done. But his karting days, he said he struggled because he was almost like a windsock. John Phippen will wait for him to get the helmet off, but everybody wants to congratulate him. And, well, he should celebrate that. That's a great way to end a weekend. Doesn't get any better on a Sunday night to go home with a win, does it?
Yeah, winner trophy in the bag. That's what everybody wants, basically. Yeah, I have friends that are 6'5". Michael DiOrlando.
Yes, I know
Yes.
Michael, yeah.
He has to stay very lean to meet the minimum weight of drivers. So
Well, I
it's
always
a
used to, I remember Ollie Gavin when he was doing single-seaters way back in the day, but of course his career's gone on. Let's head down to John Phippen, who's got the blonde, curly-haired Cooper Beckland as Roberto Moreno, a former Formula One driver, congratulated. Not a bad day at the office.
Cooper, you've been on the podium 13 times this season. Finally, the top step. How does it feel?
Oh my God, it feels amazing. I mean, we've worked all season. We've been fast enough almost every weekend, and it's finally worked out in our favor. We saved a set of tires, and the team worked really hard to get this car working to race pace, and I think it worked out fine. And now we're on the top step. So
You got a great start as well.
yeah, very good start. I had a little bit of wheel spin, but I was able to stay with those guys, and we were able to fight.
Congratulations on your first win.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
First win once again, Jonathan.
I know, it's been a great day. I think when I think of what Cooper's achieved, what sort of Schrieffer has achieved in F4, and yeah, just some great stories all through, and that young man can go away happy. He's a high jumper by trade, that's his other sport, but he's just done a PB in motor racing, and well done to Cooper Beckland. Tina Larson, team manager, there to congratulate him. Stephen Giles in the background, the engineer. I think he engineered Mika Hakkinen back in the day for McLaren. So, as we recover from the excitement of that race, we look forward to Trans Am coming up. So plenty more action to come on the Speed Tour. Stay with us. We'll take a short break. My thanks to Tyke Durst for joining me here in the booth. Best of luck at Coda, my friend. And we will take a short break. We'll be back with more action after a short break.
Everything in our garage is inspired by our racing spirit. Race in for a great deal on the Honda CR-V.